If the enemy is immune, it will eat the convalescent stacks. We were just playing Sigewinne, and Sigewinne has a big bug. Huge bug. In fact, it's annoying as fuck, but not everyone's gonna experience this, but it is a mistranslation in the game, or it's potentially a problem with the character's kit that is inherent and is actually in multiple characters' kits, actually, when we were looking through this, and people just didn't catch this till most recently. So Sigewinne has a passive. In her passive ability, Sigewinne grants herself a semi-strict bed rest effect for 18 seconds. After using Rebound Hydrotherapy, which is your skill, the healing ability, you get an 8% hydro damage bonus and 10 stacks of convalescence. When the elemental skill of your nearby off-field party members other than Sigewinne deal damage, consume 1 stack of convalescence. Now, the most important thing to take from this sentence is when the nearby off-field party members other than Sigewinne, most important part, deal damage. Okay, consume 1 stack of convalescence and increase the damage dealt by the instance of elemental skill damage. Every 1,000 max HP over her max HP gives the damage boost a meaningful number. In short, if you use her elemental skill and an off-field character using an elemental skill does damage, that damage gets boosted. Now, here's the problem. What if it does 0 damage? And you're using a character like Furina, and Furina is able to use her elemental skill with all the Salon Soter things, and she does 0 damage. What happens? All right, so if I'm going to use Chiori here, Chiori does an elemental skill hit. On her elemental skill, with a crystallize, right now we're hitting for 19,000 damage, right? So I'm gonna go into this, drop this, and then we'll drop a Sigewinne, which will then give us the convalescent stack boost, and we'll see a damage boost, and it's a parrot going to 30,000 damage. All right, so that's the damage boost that we should see from a Sigewinne. Easy enough to understand. Now, let's hit the target with Furina. You can see it's doing immune. It's immune to hydro damage. It's a hydro enemy. Hitting with hydro damage, it's immune. Wow. I'm gonna use Furina's buff, okay? We're gonna use a Sigewinne hit, where we're then gonna switch over to Chiori, and we're gonna see the damage numbers here. Well, as you can see, the damage number went down because I'm only receiving Furina's buff, and I am not receiving the Sigewinne buff. And I clearly did no damage because the damage is immune. I did 0.
But wait, Sekka. 0 is still a number. And actually, 0 is still damage because it's immune and damage is still real.
Well, if that was true, I have another thing we can look at, okay? Then let's go look at this weapon here. This weapon is called the Sacrificial Bow. This bow, after damaging an opponent, after damaging an opponent with an elemental skill, the skill has an 80% chance to end its own cooldown.
But 0 is still damage, Sekka.
Let's try it again. Maybe I just missed the proc because it's 80%, right? It seems to still be doing damage at 0, right? It's bouncing, right? Seems to not proc. To me, I feel like was lied to a little bit about the dealing damage. Well, okay, sure.
But Sekka, how do you know it's not working? Maybe the buffs don't stack. Maybe the buffs aren't supposed to work together.
So, as we all know, when you use Furina's buff or Mona's buff, you're going to get a damage bonus, okay? And if you use Furina, you'll get a damage increase. Yeah. All right. So if that was true, then Mona's damage boost wouldn't work. So let's go ahead and see if Mona can do anything here. So we're gonna use Sigewinne here. Sigewinne, Mona. Okay, Chiori Itzo. Okay. Seems like I did more damage.
Can't catch me.
Seems like the damage boost worked. So,
Can't catch me.
as we can see, Mona's damage boost works. A damage boost works, and the buffs do stack. We already knew that if you play Genshin, that they would stack. The problem is that Furina doing 0 damage is going to take your stacks. Now, surprisingly, we learned earlier today that this is actually a problem on another character. And it's actually a problem on Shenhe too, apparently. And this is kind of a bullshit problem, because we didn't really know it was a problem on Shenhe, because you never use a cryo damage boosting character to do damage to a cryo target, because that's stupid. But Furina is like a universal damaging boosting character that you can just use to get boosted damage on the first target for whatever target it may be. So her damage boost is what she's for. But Shenhe only boosts cryo, so no one cared. So this was actually a problem on Shenhe too. Shenhe, if you look at her skill is when normal charge attack, plunge attack, elemental skill, and elemental burst deal cryo damage. The damage dealt is increased based on Shenhe's attack. And apparently this buff goes away if the enemies are cryo immune as well. I don't know how the fuck to test that besides Magu Kenki and him being immune to all damage and not doing any damage. So damage immunity and this buff should not work together. It's kind of bullshit, kind of a lie. What do you guys think?